just you and me forever.
Do you take this woman as your lawful wedded wife?
Ooh, yeah! Oh,
Place the ring on her finger and repeat after me. With this ring,
no. With this ring,
I thee wed.
I thee wed.
Hello and welcome to With This Ring, episode 53. I'm your co-host Ryan Everett.
I'm your co-host Cindy Everett.
And this week we'll be discussing love.
Aw.
As we're looking at the 1999 St. Valentine's Day Massacre in your house. Still kind of subtitled in your house.
Yeah, that made me think, the 1998 February one, was that just called In Your House? That wasn't called St. Valentine's Day.
No, because it wasn't on Valentine's Day.
Got it.
Okay. I think they ended up going with No Way Out from 98 through...
Of Texas. Right?
Well, 98 was No Way Out of Texas. Then until 2010, the February pay-per-view was always called No Way Out, except for this one.
Oh, okay.
So I think they liked the No Way Out name, but just since it was actually on Valentine's Day, they
didn't really reference the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Well, no, it was just a nice way to
all right.
to do it.
All right.
So do you know what you were doing Valentine's Day 1999?
I couldn't tell you.
I was watching this pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about
going out.
No, I didn't have any romantic
you
plans.
Didn't have a lady friend?
No, 7th grade me wasn't that hot with the ladies. So, but before we actually get to that event, we go back in time and actually a week after the Royal Rumble, it was taped 2 days after the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Because they had the Raw the night after, and the next night they taped Raw for the next week. But before that, they had a rematch of the Rock Mankind feud in their, I believe it's their 5th match now since November.
We were talking about that. They've had a lot of matches.
Yes, they have. And we will talk about 3 of them on this podcast alone.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we watched the one the night after we came back. But, the first one we'd watched before. The first one, hopefully people can hear me a little bit better now. Okay. I was slouched on the couch. So the first one we've watched before, but it is the classic Super Bowl halftime match, which is high art.
Yes, it really is.
More than wrestling, because they are around the entire arena. There's different, scenes. You got the kitchen,
catering
the popcorn,
area.
You got the office. Yes. You got the buffet. I don't know what to call that.
I think it's just catering is what they usually call it. It's just where everyone's eating backstage.
Or food services or craft services.
Right.
Yeah. It ends with...
they're on the loading dock of some
sort.
They're
on the loading dock. Mankind's on the forklift, and he crushes the Rock with a pallet. They get some very... That cameraman just jumped up on the pallet and got that shot. Yeah,
and I guess... They didn't film it like that. Well, they had to film it special. So,
right.
In his book, Mick Foley talks about how he didn't even, as he was walking off, they said, they needed one more shot with The Rock. And he didn't even know until he was watching it on Sunday, the ending. And it's a little bit cheesy, I think, kind of. Yeah. I mean, not that the rest of the match isn't cheesy, but it kind of put it over the top, I think, for some people. I enjoyed it still.
I was going to say, what did you think?
I mean, it was something you didn't see usually. You didn't see matches during halftime of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And this is one that trend was, I think the year before was Celebrity Death Match.
Oh, I remember that.
I think it was Spice Girls versus Hanson, I think was the first. But even then, Steve Austin was involved in that.
Oh, really?
He was he advertised, promoted that. So.
Gotcha. Oh,
my phone is...
Gonna play Spice
Girls. So I think it was getting to the point where people did not care about the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And there was a lot of counter programming to it, which before then no one really counter-programmed the Super Bowl. Now
no one really does that anymore, do they? Except for Animal Planet.
Yeah, and even that's usually. That starts
they're not really taking a lot of Super Bowl viewers away.
And it's earlier in the day. It's not
that's true. The Puppy Bowl.
You want to watch 6 hours of puppies just running back and forth. The cat cheerleaders.
And the gerbils and the... I haven't watched that in a long time.
No,
no. I get your point. And yeah, I totally forgot about Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah. It was good. I'm upset. It's on Paramount Plus, but not the early seasons, which is when it's good.
Right, clearly.
So yeah, Mankind wins the belt back, though, now. So he's a 2-time champ. Mm-hmm. And this, they set up at the pay-per-view, they'll have a match where it's last man standing. And so we get to Sunday Night Heat first at the Pyramid in Memphis, which, as we've talked about, is
many times
now a
Bass Pro Shop.
Giant Bass Pro Shop, and they even have the little
Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah,
logo
Bass
on
Pro
there.
Shop.
That's crazy. I guess I'm very curious how it's configured.
Yeah,
in there.
Are there rows of steps all over the place?
Yeah,
it's an arena.
Right? Did they leave it as an arena?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that also.
Well, if we ever go to Memphis,
they definitely have to check out the world's largest.
I Alec there when he did his. What year did it become a Bass Pro Shop?
Let's see. So it looks like around 2002 it started kind of being.
It was a church.
Yeah, it was. Well, the annual Church of God in Christ International Holy Convocations were held there.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. So in 2001, they started recording it. In 2004, they had the FedEx Forum, which is their main stadium now.
Yeah, here they have the little Bass Pro Shop.
Oh, yeah.
Section.
It
opened in 2015.
It was a 3-year rumor that there would be a Bass Pro Shop. And then it didn't open for...
Oh, they have an archery range, a shooting range, and a laser arcade. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like a giant...
Yeah, I think they just... It looks like they totally leveled everything in there and just held the frame.
Yeah, just kept the pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back when it was an arena.
Yes, back when it was arena in 1999. And so no matches really of note, but we do have segments where Mick Foley's trainer, Dominic DeNucci, comes in.
Yep.
The old Italian WWE mid-carder. And he wants to make sure that Mick knows all the tricks for tonight, including he wants him to hit a dropkick because he thinks it'll really knock The Rock out. And then he also brings his good friends, former WWF champions, Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik.
Yep.
And they are giving their own words of expertise, including the Iron Sheik doing his Iranian club demonstration, which is how he actually worked out. It was like these two huge 40-pound clubs that
he just twirled around with
batons. That's I guess something they do in Iran, supposedly.
Well, he does it.
Yes, he does it at least, and he is Iranian.
So therefore...
all Iranians know how to do it.
Obviously.
And then Bob Backlund's big thing was he always ran up steps at the Harvard buildings or something. Mm-hmm. So he wanted Mick Foley to run up the steps
that's their,
in the back.
It.
And
as a pallet, it's just
randomly on steps.
On the steps, yep.
And of course, The Rock comes out and hits him with I think it's either a garbage can or
I think it's the pallet, the wood pallet. He hits.
Well, no, I think first he hits him with a metal container and then smashes it against the pallet.
That's right.
So yeah, he attacks him and weakens the leg, which will affect you in the last man standing match.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
So then we get to the pay-per-view proper. Mm-hmm. And it starts with a great Goldust versus Blue Dust match.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. And this is where Vince Russo's half-explained booking really kicks up in the notches with everyone has something going on in the mid-card, but some of it's ridiculous.
Okay.
All this. So Al Snow was the leader of the Job Squad. And he had Head, and Goldust stole Head. Then the Blue Meanie stole Head back for Al Snow because he was friends with Al Snow.
Okay.
And then he became Blue Dust for some reason, and Goldust beats him in 3 minutes. And
yep, and his ring attire is very janky.
Yeah. It was kind of he was one of those guys that he was in ECW for a while.
Okay.
And ECW kind of, they always say that they accentuate the positives of guys who might not be that talented, and Blue Meanie is one of those guys that worked in the ECW world, but they didn't explain him or anything when he came to WWF. He's just a big fat guy with blue hair.
Yeah.
It's like...
You need a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it wasn't really planned out, and it just kind of... Now he's some big blue naked guy on a couch. What is going on?
Right. Yeah, his ring gear was like very see-through.
Yeah,
see all the...
Yeah, usually he wore like the cut-off jeans and a cut-off t-shirt, but now he was going for the gold dust look apparently, but
did not work very well. Yeah, nothing to really say about that.
Yeah, not exactly a hot opener to get the crowd excited.
Yeah, seriously.
And then next, speaking of Al Snow, we have a hardcore match to fill the vacant hardcore title, and it is Al Snow and, again, one of his former Job Squad crewmates.
This guy, or if I hadn't ever paid attention to him.
Bob Holly.
Yeah.
He first came in, he's been around since 94. He came in as Sparky Plug, where he was a race car driver. Okay. And that was his gimmick, and shockingly, he didn't become a main eventer with this. No, he kind of just languished in the lower mid card for a while, and then he kind of got a little bit of a push the year before with the new Midnight Express, but that didn't end up lasting too long, and then he just kind of floated around until Al Snow formed the Job Squad, and then he joined that and kind of had a few more matches. But then the night before, Al Snow was talking about how he wanted a hardcore title match because he was supposed to face the Road Dogg, but the Road Dogg got busted was sent to rehab for cocaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he was no longer the hardcore champion.
That's where he's been.
Yes, so that title is vacant.
Kind of wondering what's going on.
And they just kind of have these two guys wrestle to crown a new champ.
Oh.
And how did you feel about this one?
I think I said that it was like the poor man's version of the Mankind.
Yeah, it's
Rock one.
This is kind of like the template for the hardcore title match, where it's a lot of brawling, a lot of going out of the ring, out of the arena.
Yep.
But also like 10 minutes, like not as grand as the empty arena match.
Right. I mean, they end up like literally in the Mississippi River.
Yes, yeah.
Because the fire extinguisher is funny, and then they kind of go into the crowd, and they go into the concourse,
yes.
And then next thing you know...
There will be lots of that the rest of the year, I will tell you, in all the hardcore title matches.
Fair
almost.
Enough. I said they're doing okay, not the same panache as The Rock.
No.
They're like, they can't hold those characters.
Yeah. But some good stiff shots, and...
Yeah.
It ends, if you're holding a show on the banks of the Mississippi River.
You gotta jump in the Mississippi.
Someone's gonna go in the Mississippi River.
It
was not a very, well conditioned part of the river.
No.
Yeah. So that is that. And then next we have the Big Boss Man versus Midian and the burgeoning Corporation versus Ministry of Darkness feud.
Yep.
Where,
I guess.
Yeah, the Undertaker, who's a heel, is feuding with Vince McMahon, who's also a heel.
I was gonna say, so multiple heel factions now.
Yes. Because that's not confusing at all.
I was going to say, you got to keep it simple for the folks, for the people.
So, it's the Big Boss Man is, in reality, he's like number 6 on the pecking order of the corporation, but everyone else is in much more important things going on, so
he gets sent out.
He gets sent out to do this, and it's 6 minutes is way too long for this match.
Yes. I said it was dragging, boring.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Luckily, eventually the Boss Man gets put into the hardcore division, which is kind of more his speed at this point in his career, and not 8-minute matches with Midian, who shouldn't be having 8-minute matches, period.
No. Yeah, the Undertaker kind of pops out at the end.
Yep.
And so the Boss Man wins within the Ministry.
The Ministry attacks him, because again, the corporation doesn't really care about this feud yet. It ramps up a little bit as we get going, but right now,
it's like not important.
Vince McMahon's facing Steve Austin in a cage. That's much more important to him than whether the Undertaker or whether Big Boss Man could beat old Phineas Godwin. So then we have a tag title match.
Phineas Godwin his real name?
No, that was him, and he was Phineas Godwin, and there was Henry Godwin.
Oh, it was like
the pig farmers.
That's right. Right. Never mind.
Yeah, they were around early '98.
Yep. I can't remember that.
And so now next is the tag team title match, and we have new tag champs.
Okay.
We didn't see the titles defended at the Rumble, but Ken Shamrock and the Big Boss Man were the champs.
Okay.
And then they lose them on Raw the night after the Royal Rumble to Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett, who are helped by a black blue blazer to win the belts.
Who?
The Blue Blazer, which will unfortunately come. He had been like sneaking around, like Owen Hart was dressing up as him again.
Got it.
But then there was a black guy that dressed up as the Blue Blazer.
That's right.
And Owen Hart was like, obviously that wasn't me. I told you I wasn't the Blue Blazer. So
that's right. Well, okay, we watched that.
There've been
touched upon.
Yeah, I mean
other parts, right?
That's December pay-per-view when Deborah was stripping.
That's right.
The Blue Blazer, which is in that one, it's clearly Owen Hart. Like you can see half his face is covering her up. But yeah, so the Blue Blazer has kind of been like in the background for a while, and he helps them win the tag titles.
Obviously. And
they take on D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry, and of course Owen and Jeff Jarrett have Deborah, and D'Lo and Mark Henry have this person that they brought in the night before as a new debut is Ivory.
Okay.
And she was a wrestler, hadn't been for a while though, because her big time in wrestling was as one of the stars of Glow.
Oh, nice.
In the early 80s. Or not, late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah.
And I don't think she really wrestled between that. Like, 86 she started in Glow. Yeah, and she had one match, it seems like, in between Glow and the WWF.
Well.
Yeah, 1995 she took a hiatus from wrestling for 5 years.
Well.
And then they brought her back.
Said, hey, all right, needed work.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Fine. And so, yeah, a little back and forth match here. I think
it was fine.
Owen and Jeff Jarrett are a good enough team that. And then here with D'Lo Brown.
I was going to say, D'Lo Brown did a good job.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Mark Henry.
He was injured.
I commented on that, yeah.
And I think he comes in like just at the very end.
Right.
And I think he has a huge brace on his leg.
Yeah.
And he has a guitar broken over the leg and then the figure 4 put on. And he ends up going away for a couple of months now to have some minor knee surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of telling when he's only in it at the very end and has a huge knee brace on.
Right, yeah. That's true. So it's fine. Yeah, he taps out. Owen and Jeff win. Fine. But yeah, D'Lo Brown's good.
Yeah. D'Lo Brown is really hitting his stride here, I think. And he's getting pretty over with the crowd also. He's finally ditched the nation music.
Right. And he's lost his chest protector.
Yes, and the pectoral injury finally healed.
Yeah, that was a long one.
Yeah, I guess, sometimes you just need some time and become a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
It heals your pec.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. When the look is, when you're over, you can kind of change your look.
Yeah.
Your chest protector. Fair enough.
So then, next.
This is like Billy Gunn's guest repping because his partners got out of commission.
Yeah, they had also kind of been.
Yeah, that's true.
Slowly fading away into their singles roles. And then, and at this point, we're what 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 4 matches in. It's like maybe 50 minutes into the pay-per-view. It is very quick going with these first 4 matches, and then it's really to the last 4 matches to carry the load.
Yeah, true.
So with that, we have, like as you said, Billy Gunn is the special guest referee in an IC title match with Val Venis, who is with Ryan Shamrock.
Oh, right. Obviously, Ken Shamrock's sister.
Of course.
Quote-unquote sister.
Yes. And Val and Ken Shamrock, it's an okay match, I would say. It's fine. There's the moment where Ryan Shamrock breaks up Ken's pinfall attempt.
That's right.
So he rolls to the outside and very audibly tells her to slap him, and lo and behold, she slaps him.
Yeah, he's like, slap me.
Yeah, he was not great. He has a few times where he is caught very loudly yelling spots what to do and stuff. I think he had never really learned that nuanced part.
The inside voice.
Yes.
Well, maybe she did need it. Would they rehearse that with her or no?
I mean, they probably would have said, yeah, you're going to slap him, but...
She probably could have looked at his face and said, slap me really loud. It was good. It was getting a little long.
Yeah, it's
his
little...
style kind of getting a little repetitive for me.
Yeah.
I do like the ending, though.
Yeah, the ending is nice where Billy Gunn gets involved, obviously.
Well, yeah, because Ken Shaw gets up, he pisses him off. So Billy Gunn does a super quick count. Like a fake count, essentially.
Right, but enough that the referee's decision is final. Mm-hmm. Cannot overrule that, so Val Venis is the new Intercontinental Champion and off to film another movie maybe with Ryan Shamrock.
Yes. But Ryan, she really dated Ken Shamrock in real life, you were saying, right?
I think, first she was just brought in.
Right.
And then as she was around, they started hooking up.
Kind of weird to hook up with your sister.
Yes, who's named after your son.
Really?
Yes, he has a son named Brian Shamrock, I believe.
Okay. Well, what's her real name? Do you know?
I could find out. It's Alicia Webb.
Alicia Webb. All right.
Hasn't done much.
Yeah, well, what'd you do after post WWE?
Just like independent shows, basically.
Got it.
And she was in WCW for a minute, but.
Oh, she managed X-Pac. All right. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
No. All right.
It
was fine.
Yeah. And then our next match is. It tells you your thoughts on it. And so the night after the Rumble, Chyna turned on DX.
Yep.
And she said that she was always disrespected and not given enough chance to shine, and the corporation would be the group for her now and help hold her up on the pedestal.
Okay. I mean, she also doesn't have a lot of charisma. So
no.
Whatever group she's in, she's not going to be doing a lot of speaking.
She's going to need a group around her.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. She just kind of like stares like that.
Yeah.
Can't really do a lot of the time.
Well, now she's more wearing silver though than black, so that's her big. That's her big character change.
That's the big change.
Yeah. Like no more DX shirts.
Dilo takes his chest protector off and Chyna changes from black to silver.
Yes, and
all right.
As she's in the corporation, she starts to form a non-romantic, but a relationship with Kane specifically, and kind of decides to have him attack DX for her.
Got it.
Namely Triple H and X-Pac, and on Raw the week before they have a cage match between Kane and Triple H, and Chyna, X-Pac, and Shane McMahon all get involved. Shane McMahon gets involved in this one also. He's down at
really
ring. He's doing the ring announcing at first.
Yeah, that's not good.
And
then he gets up.
Of course, decides to call Jerry Lawler Kingfish every 20 seconds he's there.
Well, it's either that or X-Punk.
Yeah,
I think he really drove that one a little
too hard. It's only getting started, trust me.
Oh, great.
He has a shirt that says that eventually.
Oh, jeez. This wasn't that funny of a name.
Yeah, it's not that good.
No.
And this match is very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well, 14:46,
yeah,
but...
It's Triple H and X-Pac versus Kane and Chyna.
Yeah.
I mean, X-Pac's clearly the best wrestler.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
And like these the last two matches, both of them are right around 15 minutes. That is kind of a little too long for both of them, I think. I mean, you look at the times for the show, and it's... I mean, obviously, Mankind Rock has the longest.
Right.
And Austin McMahon isn't that long, but that's not counting all the pre-match stuff. So it's only when they both are in the ring.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, so that's like 10 minutes of action beforehand.
Yeah, you can't. You got to count the whole... From like the minute like Austin emerges to the curtain, right? Yeah,
but these two matches, it's kind of like... It's good that they're having longer matches, but they're not quite there as far as the talent is necessary. Because here, I mean, Chyna gets in and wrestles, she has
more spots than I thought she'd get.
Yeah, but it's still more of like Kane with Chyna versus these two guys. It's not really a true tag team match. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is what it is. Shane McMahon gets involved twice, I believe, and it ends with Kane chokeslamming Triple H and Chyna getting the pinfall on him to kind of earn her revenge for being wronged, supposedly.
Yeah, Shane like runs out.
Yeah, I think X-Pac chases him to the back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the wheels kind of start to come off that one a little bit.
Yeah.
But so it goes.
And then we get to our big world title match.
Yes.
The Rock versus Mankind. Again, this is the fourth time we've seen it on pay-per-view, and the third time it hasn't been the main event.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Well, Steve Austin's the star in the company.
True.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think The Rock ended up okay. They all ended up.
The Rock turned out okay.
I also feel like, I mean, The Rock's character is kind of like, but he doesn't seem like he's that egotistical of a person, is he? Or was he upset that Steve Austin?
No, he was fine with that. I mean, it's
probably what's good for the company is good for him. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the less selfish guys.
Diva-ish guy. Who's the biggest diva at this time?
They really didn't have too many people. Steve Austin would like argue things, but it wasn't like I don't want to do that. It would be like, no, this is stupid, and here's why.
Got it.
But yeah, at this point, that was like kind of one of the big things separating the WWF and WCW. WCW had all the big egos like Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash, who were not. Nash, really? Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, I can see.
Yeah.
Have a big ego. That does not surprise me at all.
And
that's gonna shut down our podcast for slander.
Yeah. Well, we're not saying anything about how it's different penis sizes or whatnot.
Oh, okay, I'm not gonna touch that one.
Well, Hulk Hogan has a different penis size than Terry Bollea.
Really?
He argued this in court. He said this under oath.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I'm just repeating what he said.
All right, that sounds like a different podcast. Okay.
So yeah, back to Mankind and The Rock.
Yeah.
So last man standing match, which these matches could tend to get a little boring, especially with the counts, but this one actually keeps up a pretty good pace.
A lot of big moves, and then The Rock starts singing.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, a couple moves up out of the announcer table.
They go through an announcer's table, and they go through the table, like the table that just happened to be set up.
Obviously.
In an area where there was no crowds or anything, yeah. It did have stuff on it, though, so it was being used as an actual table at one point. Like
secondary purpose.
I think like all the Gatorade and stuff was on there for like the crew.
Well, not anymore.
Nope. So
yeah, but then the ending, lame.
Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, they wanted to get to the match the next night, and they figured the best way to do it was just to have a double knockout. And I mean, if you're going to do it, I guess that's probably the best way to do it with them both hitting each other with a chair.
Right. But it's just kind of like after that match, you want some sort of finality.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the next night.
Yeah, this was a big time where a lot of things are turned into Raw tomorrow to see the conclusion and.
Got it. They intentionally put some cliffhangers in there.
Yes. Yeah. All right, and then finally we do get Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon in the steel cage match, and the winner. Well, if Steve Austin wins, he'll go to WrestleMania to face The Rock. If Vince McMahon wins, he gets to choose The Rock's opponent for WrestleMania. So,
got it.
And yeah, so to start off, it's a big game of cat and mouse. It's
supposed to be a cage match, and they made a big deal, like you just run around, and so what does Vince start doing is running around.
Right, yeah, so, and that match never starts because it has to have both men in the ring with the cage door closed for him to start, so Austin tries to climb in, and Vince, runs out the door, then Vince climbs out, and Steve Austin's trying to climb in, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it goes on for a while.
They fight into the crowd.
The crowd's nuts.
The crowd is going crazy for this, so that's why this is the main event.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so they get to the point where Vince McMahon... Steve Austin jumps off 5 feet off the cage and pretends that he blew out his knee.
Oh, that's right.
And Vince McMahon gets close to him, and Austin starts attacking him, and then Vince McMahon tries to climb into the ring, and at the very top, Steve Austin bangs his head against the cage, and Vince falls and cracks. It lands. I think he said in an interview his butt cheeks went straight into the middle of the table.
Oh, really? Oh.
Breaks open.
Jeez.
The table, not his butt cheeks.
Right. But I broke my butt.
Yes, I broke my butt. I need a new butt.
Yeah. Inspired by Vince McMahon. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of back and forth. I think they do a good job of incorporating the cage, but it's got to be tough to quote unquote wrestle a guy hanging from the
right. Yeah, it's kind of
It wasn't a great technical match.
No, it wasn't.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, that's what the whole thing was sold on. Steve Austin is going to make Vince McMahon suffer and bleed, and
yep,
and so sure. At first. So it looks like that's the end of the match before it starts, as Vince McMahon's getting stretchered out.
Yep.
And Austin starts yelling at people. He says, "Hey, jackass, that's you," in the windbreaker.
Oh, yeah.
Is he still breathing? Yes. Then the match isn't over, and he drags the stretcher, throws the stretcher into the cage.
I love that, too.
And then throws Vince McMahon into the ring and just starts annihilating him. And twice he could walk out, but Vince McMahon gives him the finger both times.
That's right.
So he comes back in and attacks him again.
Just win the match if you wanted to beat up Vince McMahon instead.
Yeah, I think Vince McMahon gets one desperation low blow, but not a lot of offense for him, and he is busted wide open eventually.
Yep.
And then when it looks like it's Steve Austin's match to win, the ring opens underneath.
Oh, that's right. Popping out as the big shot.
Yep.
Paul White. What's he called? But how does he just?
So he's in WCW since '95, including a match where he was thrown off the roof by Hulk Hogan.
Oh, that's right.
After a sumo monster truck match, as one does.
That's right, he was in that. We should watch that one again. That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, so he'd been in WCW since that, like, since his debut until January of '99. And it was like, in like the middle of 1998, everyone knew when his contract's up, he's going to WWF. It was not it wasn't technically tampering.
Okay.
But it was wide known that he was going to go to
I assume they all sign like
WWF.
non-competes if they're like pretty famous.
He didn't have a non-compete though, because I think the contract, the 9-10-peats are more when you're released.
Gotcha.
If your contract runs out, you're usually free
do
to
whatever you want,
go.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, his last Nitro was, I believe, January 11th. So 4 weeks later, he showed up.
Got it. Took a nice vacation.
Yeah, took a little
back
break and came. Yeah, and here he's just Paul White. They tried to go with the Big Nasty at first. Yeah, and luckily, after Michael Cole saying that like 20 times a segment that he'd appear, they're like, yeah, this is not a good name.
No.
And then eventually they do settle on the Big Show by WrestleMania. Okay. And for a while it's the Big Show Paul White. And then eventually they just kind of phase out the Paul White. Yeah.
Five different words.
Yeah.
Nah.
So yeah, the Big Show Paul White.
Okay.
Busts through, starts attacking Steve Austin, and Vince McMahon yells at him to throw him into the cage. And he does, and as he does, the cage, Steve Austin lands against the cage, kind of catches himself. And as he does this, the cage busts open, taking out the referee in the process, who was probably doing some sort of locking to make
the cage fall apart.
Make it fall apart, and Steve Austin slowly rides it out and realizes he's out of the cage and just jumps down and gets the win.
Yeah, he just kind of swings on it like a big door.
Yep. He has a nice little ride and takes it.
Does the ref know, like, okay, after Big Show shows up?
Yeah, I'm sure, like, as soon as he teared it up, and he would start, like, undoing the cage. And it was probably, like, holding it until Steve Austin got thrown into it. And then just let go.
Yeah, and then he swung right open and hopped out.
And so Vince McMahon is, like, crying in a puddle of his own blood. The Big Show's seething, and Steve Austin is victorious, but kind of wary of this new 7-foot giant that is the giant from WCW, but obviously you can't use that.
That was his name?
Yes.
Okay.
And trademarked the name, so.
Got it.
So then we did we watched the next night on Raw. So it starts with Shawn Michaels as commissioner coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And he announces that at WrestleMania, the main event will be champion Mankind defending against the number one contender, Steve Austin. So they both come out and they have a little mutual admiration, like, I respect you, but I'm going to beat you. Mm-hmm. And then Vince McMahon, along with The Rock and Paul White, come out on top of the stage, and Vince has the neck brace and, like, a huge bandage on to really sell it.
Laying on a little thick, yeah.
And first announces that Paul White will be the guest referee at WrestleMania in the main event. And then The Rock is able to goad Mankind into one more title match for a ladder match for the title.
This time's a ladder match, and I think we were talking about, which I didn't realize they would like set it up in the beginning and then make sure that the actual match to the end. And
actually, coming off of that, when you were talking about who's the biggest diva, even though he's not wrestling at the time, it's definitely Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah,
because he is supposedly. It was set up that it would be Rock versus Mankind versus Steve Austin at WrestleMania.
Oh.
But Shawn Michaels was like adamant that it could not be. You could not have a triple threat match for the main event. Needed to be a one-on-one match.
Yeah.
And he was actually arguing it should be Steve Austin versus Mankind because Shawn Michaels did not like The Rock.
Oh, really?
Yes, because The Rock was friends with Bret Hart. Oh. And the whole thing
by association.
Yes. So
by extension, yeah.
There have been times like in 2005, I think there was a chance that they could have done Rock versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and The Rock was like, no.
Really?
So he kind of ended up sticking it back at him.
Got it. Okay.
But eventually, Vince McMahon decided he did want two men, but Mick Foley was not was the odd man out, unfortunately.
Got it.
So they have a ladder match.
Yeah, well, Steve Austin and The Rock are pretty much the number 1 and number 2.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
at this
definitely.
point.
I mean, Mankind was kind of like someone that I think they were never going to have him win the title. I think he was just going to be like the placeholder, and then he just got so hot that they
Kept it going.
Yeah,
like this. People like this. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah, I don't think in November they figured, okay, he's going to main event against The Rock at every pay-per-view and 3 Raw matches and a Super Bowl halftime show.
Right. Yeah, they must have gotten along pretty well together to keep.
Yeah,
and they got good reactions, obviously. So yeah, no one from Degeneration X is making it up.
No.
At the top.
Yeah, Triple H is on the cusp, but he's kind of there's really Austin, The Rock or Austin and Mankind are the top 2 faces, and then there's a valley of who's next, and also you have like all the different shades of gray. Like Undertaker's fighting Vince McMahon, but he's also like the devil, so he can't be a good guy.
Can't root for him to
right? Yeah.
Yep. So but then Steve Austin is the guest referee. For the
guest commentator.
Guest commentary.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
But,
you don't really need to ref that much for the ladder match.
True.
Just
point.
kind of say that guy won.
Yeah.
Like that's one where the ring announcer could probably handle it on their own.
True. But yeah, then the Big Show comes out again.
Yep.
And takes out Mick Foley.
Yeah, with quite the choke slam from the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Like they made sure to. I mean, this was his first. A lot more people watch Raw than the pay-per-view. Right. So this was his first viewing to many people, and they made sure to make him look like a killer.
Yep.
And Mankind helps with that, like just totally going up for that choke slam off the ladder.
Yep. Yeah, tough.
And then with Mankind out, The Rock is able to easily
just kind of
climb up the ladder, claim his title, and then of course Steve Austin comes out and gives him a stunner to start their
place, and start the feud.
Yeah, like the feud had been Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon, and now it's more specifically the top 2 wrestlers.
Got it.
And then and there's on the post Attitude edition where the camera stopped rolling.
Oh.
They show quite a extended sequence of Steve Austin drinking beer and beating up The Rock. I think he gives him like 8 more stunners and drinks 10 more beers, and
Mankind gets in on the
he gets a mandible claw, and this is when The Rock is totally into overselling the stunner with the full backward flip into it.
Yeah, he flops.
Yes,
pretty good.
Well, I mean, it's the stunner. It's gonna have that effect on some people.
Oh, he's gonna stun you.
Yeah.
Well, first you hop up into the air and flop back, then you're stunned.
Yes. So we're on to WrestleMania though now, and it's
really WrestleMania was in March.
Yeah, March, end of March.
Okay.
So it's 6 weeks because it's middle of February to
Valentine's. Yes, gotcha.
And then and it's set up. It's going to be The Rock versus Steve Austin, and everything else will build around that. But that is the big match that it had to be. I mean,
is Mankind going to fight at WrestleMania?
He is. He will be involved.
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So first, maybe let's do the matches first. I think we're going to have the same. Well, I don't know.
So, this is a very uneven show.
Yes.
I think the first one has to be Steve Austin, Vince McMahon. I think the second one has to be Rock versus Mankind.
Yes.
There's not, because
I wasn't sure if you'd say Austin versus McMahon, just because it's. I said
good entertainment, but not a good match.
Yeah, I would agree. I think,
Well, what do you put in for yours? Same?
Yeah. And then the same order also.
Okay.
I think Rock Mankind is.
But they're both
maybe the better match, but the ending's not good. And Austin versus McMahon, it had been built up for 8 months, or almost a year, really, by this point, because it started right before WrestleMania 14, and now it's. So I agree, and it's one of the better.
You can't really give it to the Triple H and X-Pac match.
No.
Maybe they can. Maybe the Mark Henry deal.
I would say the tag match is probably the next best, but and then lesser months where we did have a couple, like, one match was good, and then, like, you just have to kind of give it to another match. Maybe it would get it, but this time I think there's two clear cut.
Had a little bit of bench strength. Okay.
And actual rating.
Did I like it more or less or the same as the Royal Rumble? I think I liked it about the same.
So 7?
Same, put it as 7.
All right.
Yeah. How about you?
I liked it a lot more than the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Because the Royal Rumble was pretty low for me. I'll go 7.5. Just because it had... The two good matches it had were like the last hour of a 2.5 hour pay-per-view. Okay. So it's kind of like...
Percentage-wise?
Yeah.
Nice, most quality time on screen?
Exactly.
That sounds like one of those like made-up baseball stats.
Yeah. VORP. Vince,
what?
Well, VORP is value over replacement player.
Okay. We'll come up with
I'm trying to think of
wrestling acronym.
Yeah.
All right, for next time.
Yeah, we'll come to our sabermetrics wrestling next time.
Cool.
So, real quick, do you think they could have done Rock versus Mankind for the title at WrestleMania and Steve Austin versus Vince? Just kind of like push everything from this pay-per-view back a month. Do you think Austin versus McMahon could have worked at WrestleMania? It's like same match even, let's say.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's something that's been talked about in the years since.
25 years ago, so I don't think it's gonna...
It's not going to happen.
Well,
there's plenty of reasons it's not going to happen.
Right.
Most of all is the man who was very bloody in this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Mr. McMahon character. We're not throwing any roses at the man himself.
Exactly. Right.
This is the first time we've recorded since
the
lawsuit came out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it definitely had enough buzz. And you said they've been done the anticipation for like a year.
Yeah,
so they
could have done it, or
waited
even
6 more weeks,
or even done a thing where like it's Steve Austin versus The Rock, and it's like the beginning of the show, and then at the end they have the Vince McMahon match where like he's going to take matters into his own hands and still gets killed.
Right.
Yep. All right. So so we'll get
to consider. But I guess if you're gonna have a pay-per-view, might as well. But this did have 2 pretty big matches.
Yeah, and
for an off month, for not.
Yeah, exactly. WrestleMania is going to sell.
They kind of blew their load on this.
So they'll have as much as they could here. Yeah.
Got it.
Wrestling fans aren't going to have anything to do on Valentine's Day. So. Yeah.
No doubt.
Good show. I liked it. And now we're on the road to WrestleMania. Is no more pit stops.
Okay.
Or straight on through.
We'll probably watch a couple.
Well, yeah, we'll watch a little.
So there's some
speed bumps.
Stops.
Yeah.
There's some stops on the road to WrestleMania. But no, it should be good.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. So finally we get number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, this is definitely... This has been building since... Like, at the end of Survivor Series,
right?
You knew it's going to
somehow
somehow
be...
The
Rock joined the corporation.
Right. The Rock is Steve Austin is going to be the...
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.